Good morning and welcome to my channel. My name is Janelle and I garden in Zone 5B, Northeast Wisconsin along Lake Michigan. I garden with one knee, meaning that I had a knee replaced, and when you have that done, your kneecap isn't quite the same and you can't kneel. So I always had been gardening in pots, large pots, like from trees. I just get them from whoever has them. They'll say, "Hey, Janelle, you want these pots?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." So then I'll grow things like tomatoes and peppers and whatnot in those pots. But I wanted to expand. I wanted to increase my options of food security. And we know that the prices in the grocery stores are getting a little ridiculous. So even more so now, I'm glad that I did this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the raised bed system that I put in now. The price was just under $2,000. I think it was like maybe 1840, 1860. And that's including the raised beds, and then we had to build a frame up inside of them because there was a design flaw where when you filled the soil and the soil got on the brackets that were inside, they were just like tin or aluminum, they collapsed, they kinked, and they started to pull the sides inward. So we built wooden frames up inside, which kind of increased the expense, but they're solid. And each bed has logs and sticks and then leaves and then the soil in there. And then that price does include the soil. I had to have some soil dropped from a local nursery. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through what I have here. I don't want this to seem intimidating. If you wanted to just start out with one bed or just go with pots. For years, I grew potatoes just right in the potting soil bags. I would open up the top of the bag, roll it down, I would jab a bunch of holes around in the sides, and I would plant 1 or 2 potatoes in each bag. And it worked fine for years. I would get about 10 pounds of potatoes. And if you're a large family, of course, that's like, 10 pounds of potatoes is nothing. But for one person, that's plenty. And I'm down to my last 2 potatoes in the house right now, which I will probably peel and then just cook up or make baked potatoes, because they're kind of getting to the point where they want to sprout. You want to store your potatoes in the dark, and even if I do that, they still have that tendency to sprout. That's just a potato thing to do. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through what I have here. I'm going to turn the camera around, and we've got some raised beds here. Now, each of these beds are 4 by 8 by 2. I got them off of Amazon, and like I said, these all have a wooden frame built in. And then I also have 3 here. These are 2 here. These have a June-bearing strawberry in them called Honey Oil. I'll have to swap out those plants. They're only good for about 3 years, and then they start making a smaller yield. But they also throw off runners, and I propagate so many. I've given so many to my neighbors, and I've sold a couple to random people too. So in this bed here last year, I had carrots and onions. I planted 70 onions. I'm down to 2 in the house. I used a lot for canning. And then along the garage here, it's a medicinal herb area. And I'm just going to kind of come under here real quick. Can't see it right now, but right in this area here and right under the snow here, there are winter sowed milk jugs with cold crops like cauliflower and cabbage. Now right there in that little lump that you see, that's a 2 foot by 5 foot by 1 foot bed. And there's another one right here too. You can't see it because the snow's so deep, but I intend to plant onions in those. Those I added in fall last year. They were on sale at the end of the season. And then let's kind of go back over here. So then last year in this bed here, I had tomatoes. I had 8 tomatoes in this area, and I'm going to drop that down to 6. I want to get a little bit more air circulation in there. This bed and this bed, I have a snow pounder down there for bird seed. But in these 2 beds, I had tomatoes and I had blight. And there's a gal on TikTok. I can't think of what her handle is. It's something like London something. She's from down south, but she's so smart with tomatoes. Look her up. And she recommended using 6 mil poly to kind of bake the fungus out of the soil. So that's what I did last year. I don't know if it worked. So this spring I will plant tomatoes in one of the beds to see if that might have cured it. And then I'll plant something else in the other bed. You should always kind of rotate your things anyway. Last year in this bed I had peas and strawberry kale. Now this bed here, let's back up here. So this is a 4 by 8 by 2, and so is this back one over here. But here, let's back up. I have 3 beds that are 4 by 4 by 18 inches. So it's kind of shaped like a letter E, and I did it that way so that, well, you can't do it now because I got all the snow in here, but I can walk in between here to harvest things there or there or there. And then you can see there's a little walkway path there. Last year in this bed, I had cucumbers and a couple tomatoes, 2 cucumbers, 2 tomatoes. In that bed there, I had peppers, potatoes, some onions that didn't fit anywhere else, and some peas that didn't fit anywhere else. This bed had garlic and parsnips and beets. And then, can't see it right here, obviously, under the snow, but I did plant garlic in this area here going up to Shepherd's Hook. There's 3 or 4 rows of garlic, I think 3. I plant the type that give you scapes, so I'll get 2 crops technically off of that. Over there is just a little compost heap of organic matter, and then I do have another compost heap down by those trees there. There's a little creek that goes through this backyard, but there's another compost heap there for things that have blight or fungus or mildew, and I just put it on that pile. I gotta store my tomato cages out here. There's some paracord that's kind of holding the stacks up so they don't topple over. Also, with this area here, I ordered 3 more beds that are 4 by 2 by 1. They also had an 8-foot bed, but when I read the comments, they said that when you put the soil in, the sides bow out. And I could see that because there's, it's such a long and narrow, what would you call it? Long and narrow shape. So anyway, I've got 2 4 by 2s that are going to go here and here, and then one's going to go a little bit over there. And I hope, this one here, I hope I'll be planting sweet potatoes in. That one I'll be able to plant right away, but the 2 that are going to go here, I won't be able to put into position until I harvest the garlic, and that won't be until mid-July. Last year I harvested it in late July. I shouldn't say that, July 22nd I looked it up. Along the house here, I have some more medicinal herbs, and I'm going to be adding a couple more. I kind of like the spot here. It's on a concrete slab, and I can't really put an in-ground type garden here because of the trees. These are all cedars, and cedars have very shallow root systems. So if you would till the soil, you will disturb the roots and eventually kill the trees. And I like the privacy of the trees. It's shelter for the birds. I live in a village of less than 1,500 people, but in this yard here, I don't feel like I'm in a village. And another reason why I went with raised beds is tilling. I don't have to purchase a tiller, maintain a tiller, or store a tiller. This can all get handled with like a little hand trowel, or I can kind of jab a shovel in there or whatever. I mulched it with chopped up leaves last fall. I did that for the last couple years. And that's just gonna kind of like add some nutrients into the soil. But anyway, this is kind of like my little bird feeding area. For those of you that are in the south, that's a heated bird bath. Birds like to have an open water source in the wintertime. So they have food, water, shelter here. A little chickadee. Anyway, I kind of wanted just to show you what I have here. I don't want to intimidate you, and I encourage you to do something, no matter how big or small it is. Grow your own groceries. Food prices are really, really high, and if I had to go to the store for everything, I wouldn't be able to afford it on my salary. And I make okay money, not great, but okay money. And in January, I kind of do the Canuary thing where basically I just live off of the things that I've canned all year long. I can meat, I can soups, I can jams, ketchup, taco sauce, enchilada sauce, just regular fruit. I've froze some. I have little freezer packets of sliced carrots, shelled peas, pea pods, I think celery in the freezer for stir fries, so I can make stir fries. Last month I spent around $80 on groceries, and that's because I found pizzas on sale, so that kind of was an unexpected expense. Last year it was bacon that I found on sale. Oh, and butter this month, or last month too. And now here we are in mid-February, and I have not quite spent $30 at the grocery store. I stopped at the grocery store the other day just to pick up a couple oranges because I made orange chicken, but I had the chicken in the freezer. Network with your neighbors, see who's making what, do some trading maybe. I'm more than willing to teach people that are interested. My neighbor wants to learn how to do a couple things, and she's intimidated by the whole canning and growing thing. And I told her I'm going to walk you through everything from seed to soil to sink to shelf. And we're going to probably just start her off with doing something like strawberry jam, because she had strawberry jam and strawberry rhubarb jam for me last year, and she absolutely loved it. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you what I've got going here. And I want to kind of take the intimidation out. I know when you're watching videos or reading books, they're throwing terms around that you might not be familiar with. And don't worry about that. You'll learn as you go. I make mistakes. I have failed crops. Last year, my peppers, they all grew. They all had buds, but I did not get one decent pepper. I had a couple small ones and something was eating them, so my pepper crop was a big fail last year. Last year was the very first year out of all these years that I successfully grew onions. So just know that everything has not been perfect for me either. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. The temperature's starting to drop. We're going to be going down to sub-zero temperatures for the next few days. That's why I wanted to get out here and shovel early. And thank you so much for visiting my channel, and we will have some more videos as things evolve with seeding in the house, checking on winter sowing, things like that. So little by little. Right now these are the slow months, and then it's going to get more exciting. Thanks for stopping by. Bye now.